All right, welcome back, you guys, again for our Alaria TCG How to Play video. This is going to be our second video here. Again, I'm going to be moving the camera a little bit just so we can explain a little bit of kind of the interface with the game. But if you haven't seen our previous video, you may want to do that first to get a general idea of the overview of how the game is played. But today we're going to be talking about your deck. Again, considered your spell book. Now, at the beginning of your turn, you're going to draw 10 cards. All right? And once you draw 10 cards, because you have your active zone here and you got your 5 slots to be able to place summons down, you have to be able to place 5 summons. Now, you don't have to play them, you have to be able to place 5 summons. Again, we will talk about that in our next video. But what that means is basically you keep drawing until you have 5 summons. So what that means is if you keep drawing and you have like 8 spells or you have like 6, you just keep drawing until you have 5 summons that you can place. Again, not play. And again, we will talk about that in the next video. And then, once you do that, you then discard however many you need to only have 10 cards in your hand. So say I've got my hand here, say this is 10 cards, and oh my goodness, these cards are not good, so I discard them because I couldn't use them. This is called my cooldown pile. Now, once I run out of cards in my deck, or in my spell book here, and say all of these are now in my cooldown, I'm now on my cooldown cycle, so I'm going to shuffle everything in my cooldown pile and place it back over here and use that as my spell book again. All right, so it's kind of like lore-wise, like I guess if you guys have ever played a video game, like when you're casting a spell, you don't just, I think in most games, you could still be able to cast it, but it's got a cooldown timer. It's the same concept, same idea. Everything of the gameplay is designed to be able to be lore-friendly. So if you cast your spells and you use your cards, they go into your discard pile, or your cooldown pile for whatever reason. Once you go through your entire spell book, grab your cooldown pile, and you now start drawing from that. All right. Once you go down to your first player, so again, if you remember, there's the way to be able to win is you have to get at least 50 points of power within your reserve zone and your safe zone. Now, what happens if a player hits their second cooldown cycle, so I use all these, boom, they're all my, say I got like 2 cards left, I end up using them. Okay, I have nothing else. This is all my cooldown. I shuffle it, use it now as my deck, put it back in my spellbook position, and then I use them all again. If nobody has reached 50 spell points or power points yet, and the first player to hit their second cooldown phase, then the game stops, and whoever has the most power points at that point in time wins. Lore-wise, it's kind of like if you're fighting a mage and you don't destroy the other one yet, but one mage ends up getting tapped out of their magical energy, or their mana, or whatever you want to call it. They run out of mana, or they run out of their magical energies, and if they have more points than the other person, then they win. Or if the other person has more points than them, even if it's 10 points, 15 points, whoever has the most points wins. That only counts if a player hits their second cooldown cycle and nobody has reached 50 yet. Now, don't confuse this with I hit my cooldown cycle, he hits his cooldown cycle. Oh, that's 2. No. One player has to be on their second cooldown cycle. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, Also, if you create a deck in which you cycle through it twice and and throughout the whole time have been unable to play more than at least 4 battles, then you automatically lose the game. It doesn't matter if you win. So the reason for that is you don't have to worry, because if you build your deck where you don't even have, say I build it with all spells and 5 summons, and I happen to have my 5 summons out and I actually win, in that battle I win the most power points. Well, I can't use anything else. I can't play anymore, so the game's basically over. And then because of my lucky streak with those 5 after 1 battle, I claim victory. No, it doesn't work that way. If you are unable to play at least 4 battles with the way you build your deck, then you will automatically lose. All right? And the game is over. But again, as we mentioned in the last video, if you get 2 booster packs, you will automatically have a playable deck. This prevents people from kind of doing this little hit and run and getting a lucky hit and run and they automatically win the game. This prevents all that. So that way there's no issues in the kind of cheat play. All right. So it's kind of like a mage. If you tap out on your energy, then the battle's over, and whoever has the most or whoever has what's left basically destroys their opponent. It's as simple as that. So let me know if you have any questions. That's just the deck portion that helps you understand kind of what your cooldown cycle means. So again, if I haven't already kind of explained it or beat a dead horse, we just want to reaffirm so that way you guys really understand how to play. So I'm really sorry. Hopefully it's not annoying to somebody. So you need at least 36 cards in your deck. All right. You could set it to however many ratios you want, however many spells and summons, but you keep drawing until you have 10 cards in your hand. And from there, if you cannot place 5 summons down, again, not playing, we'll talk about that in our next video, like I mentioned. If you cannot place 5 summons, you're going to keep drawing first until you have 5 you can play, and then you can actually choose which ones you want to discard until you have 10 left over. Both players can do that. All right. And then once you tap out of your cards in your spell book, you're going to shuffle your cooldown pile into your spell book. The first player that reaches their second cooldown phase, and nobody has had 50 spell points, the game's over. Whoever has the most points wins. On condition that the person who hit their second, whoever hit their second cooldown phase, if they weren't able to do at least 4 battles, then they automatically lose the game. That's just poor deck building because you decided you didn't have, which probably shouldn't ever happen, because you should have quite a bit of summons and you should always be able to play. But we wanted to make sure every nook and cranny was covered so that way there wouldn't be any loopholes. So yeah, again, let us know if you have any questions, and we'll see you on our next How to Play video.